2, 3, 4.
Welcome to the FLW Walmart tournament here on Lake Sam Rayburn, one of the finest lakes in the state of Texas. Most important thing about this lake is you're never out of it until it's over.
This lake is just tremendous for big bass.
Up on spot, you know, catch a big stringer, 25, 30 pounds.
A 30-pound stringer is not abnormal at all.
Today's going to be a real interesting tournament.
Welcome to the Walmart FLW Professional Bass Tournament.
Hang with us here, and we're going to try to go catch a big one.
Well, you made it to this week's stop on the Walmart FLW Tour. We're here at Jasper, Texas. This week presented by Eagle Electronics. Tommy Sanders, along with Jerry McInnes here. And Jerry, we got all the elements in place. We got the big fish out at Lake Sam Rayburn, and we have got a star-studded field of some of the biggest names in bass fishing. We've got a couple of classic winners, anglers of the year. You name it. All the pieces of the puzzle are about ready to fall right in.
And you know what? We have a very interesting weigh-in.
Yeah.
What happens after all this exciting fishing that you're talking about is we bring our 5 fishermen in, put each one of them in a boat with their fish, and opposed to bringing their fish all in one, you know, the whole bag, and weighing it down one whack and it's over with.
The old way.
We have them bring them in one at a time. Then this fisherman will bring his, you know, we almost have them playing against each other, one fish at a time.
Yeah, it really is a shootout. Each guy has to beat the guy who came before him in order to stay in the game, and that's what it's all about.
And we have some pretty powerful guys that are going to be in these boats indeed.
Starting with the #1 qualifier on day #3, over 20 pounds of fish from Kentucky.
I'm Kevin Worth. I'm 35 years old. I'm from Crestwood, Kentucky. I have a wife, Lisa, and a 3.5-month-old baby that's Clayton Bryce. I fished my first tournament in maybe 1983.
Then we'll jump from Kentucky over to Georgia.
Mickey Bruce. I'm from Buford, Georgia. I've been married for 25 years and I have 2 lovely children, 21 and 23, John and Stacy.
Brand new face here on the Walmart FLW Tour. First time in the top 10 from Grove, Oklahoma, Grand Lake of the Cherokees.
My name is Alan Head. I'm from Grove, Oklahoma. I have a wife and a son in college. My wife's Katie, son is Heath. I used to have a real close friend that he loved to fish, and I asked him one day if he'd like to enter a local bass tournament on a lake there close to town. And we went over and entered it, and we won it.
Tommy, I believe everybody knows this gentleman right here from Hot Springs, Arkansas.
My name is Bart Davis. I'm from Mount Ida, Arkansas. I'm 34 years old. I have a wife and a son. Her wife's name's Tilly. My son's name is James, and he's 7. I started fishing there around Hot Springs, Arkansas, where I grew up with my dad. My dad would throw a topwater plug out there and hook a schooling bass and hand me the rod. I guess that's what got me hooked. You know, Dad did it. It's all his fault.
And of course, who can forget, we're going to wrap it up with the 5th guy in this field just squeaking in once again, the #1 winningest fisherman of all time.
My name is Rick Klund. I'm 51 years old. I'm from Glorieta, New Mexico. I met the guys in the Pasadena Bass Club, and it was just a few miles from my house, and they asked me to join, and I joined that club in 1969. And one of my first tournaments again was on this lake.
So there it is. We got it all. We got the big names, we got the big fish, and of course it's kind of quiet in here right now.
Oh, but it'll be hopping.
This is the calm before the storm, and lots of fishing in the interim. Stay with us. This will be a great one.
The Walmart FLW Tour, presented by Eagle Electronics, is brought to you by Walmart. Always low prices, always Walmart. By Evinrude Intruder 150 with fixed fuel injection. By Uniroyal, driving dependability home. And by Land O'Lakes. The good things in life never really change. Well, this time of year, it's Safe Daylight at 7 a.m., and that is when our events start at 7 a.m. sharp. The 5 finalists scream away from Twin Dykes Marina here at the south end of Lake Sam Rayburn, and just a short distance, about 10 miles from Jasper, Texas.
And I think our viewers should know that although this may look like a one-day, 5-man contest, It actually started 3 days ago with 150 pros and the same amount of amateurs, and these are the survivors. And one of those, Kevin Worth, is not but 5 minutes from the ramp, making his third or fourth cast.
There he is. Safe peg, baby.
Kevin Worth told us earlier he'd been doing a lot of cranking and winding, and Jerry, I think he started out the day with that crankbait here. Got a fish on too.
Yeah, and he's all over Needmore Point. And I think most of our contestants here today have got 2 and 3 and maybe 4 spots that are pretty special to them, and they're kind of moving from one spot to the other. Maybe fish one for a little while, and they don't do any good, you know, move to another one. And Kevin has started here, I think, every morning and has done really well. Matter of fact, I'm not sure if this is a spot. I bet it is. He told me he caught some big fish in one particular area during practice.
Oh, he's a giant. Gee, he's a giant. Please stay peg.
Kevin Worth, we've known for several years, and usually he's very quiet, keeps his emotions inside, but when you catch one like that so early, you can't help yourself.
Oh, I don't get you. How big's that fish? Dude! What a fish. That's a 10-pounder, man, I think. Man, how can you fish after something like that? It doesn't mean nothing about the money. When you catch one like that, man, that's a giant. Boy, I got him behind the 8 ball again. Come on, if I can catch him. You know I got him behind the 8 ball. If I'm not a dummy and I can use my head, I might be able to be all right from here. Might be the only bite I get all day, too.
What I like to do on a school is to make repeated trips to it. I'll fish it, like this place right here. I'll fish it this morning, I'll leave it. About noon, I may come in here and fish it again, maybe only for 15 minutes. A lot of times when you do that, when you come back, you'll pick off a good fish or two. Then I'll probably fish it again, you know, sometime before the weigh-in, say around 1:30 or so. I'll come in here and I may only fish it 15 minutes, but I'll hit it again. A lot of times, you'll catch them up there really feeding again. So timing is real important.
And the big ones are coming in.
The Walmart FLW Tour, I'm Tommy Sanders along with Jerry McInnes, and we're watching Mickey Bruce begin his day here, but we're still kind of out of breath from that Kevin Worth catch there. That was incredible.
Boy, you talk about the perfect beginning.
Oh.
But, hey, now don't get all carried away here. This is Sam Rayburn Reservoir. This is the time of the year, middle of February, and yes, this just happened a couple of weeks ago. Someone else is very likely to do the very same thing. It wasn't a 10-pounder, but Mickey Bruce did pretty well himself.
There's one.
You need a 7, at least 6.5. I prefer 7. Some pro anglers even like 7.5-foot rods. And you wonder why such a long rod? Well, for one, you can cast a long leader, and you go to putting a get that fish. Oh, that's a good one.
Mark Davis giving us some good rod information there, but that's the kind of interruption he wants right there. Good fish to get started.
And actually, he got the information to us that he needed. I think he was trying to tell us to use a long rod when you're throwing a Carolina rig, because the rig itself requires a little bit longer rod than normal.
To get it out there away.
That's right.
Better.
Mark's having a great... Hey, Kevin Warren's not the only guy that got off to a fast start. Mark Davis is doing well himself.
The first morning I had my limit by 8:15, but that has stopped the last couple of days. I've been catching a few early though, and then it's about noon or 11 or 12 o'clock when they start biting good again. There he is. This will keep.
It's Alan Head. Alan's from Grove, Oklahoma, up there on Grand Lake of the Cherokees. He says he really likes all this grass down here. He doesn't have that back home.
And he's doing the same thing that, well, these guys that we've seen so far today are all doing just about the same thing. They're fishing around on the end of these points. They are in, I'd say, from maybe the 8 to 12 feet of water, trying to cover it as well as they can with those crankbaits.
I don't understand how this place can keep producing fish.
Boy, it's not too big a secret. There's just some big schools of bass on Rayburn. And a great way to catch them is on a Carolina rig like Mark Davis is using. But when they're spread out a little bit, a crankbait will, boy, it'll sure cover lots of ground.
I'm using the FLW crankbait, and I kind of like it. A good friend of mine by the name of Marty Fourkiller loaned it to me.
Is he going to get it back if you win?
No. I'm going to mount it. The color, I thought whenever I first found the fish made a lot of difference. I found them on a red or an orange storm wigglewort. But I think that the secret to it was it was running the right depth, and this one here does too. It'll run about 8 to 12 foot deep with a 10 or 12 pound test line on it. And it's got a good wide wobble to it, and they like it. There's one. Pretty small.
Alan Head getting things underway there.
And Tommy, these guys, they tell you about their rods, they tell you about their lures, and
oh yeah,
you know, it's not intentional, but most of the time they don't say a whole lot about boat positioning, and especially when you're fishing little drop-offs and little channel banks. Boat positioning is so doggone important. And you know, like I say, it's not intentional that they don't tell you about it. I think they just they take it for granted a little bit. Most of them are so good about it that they don't think anything needs to be mentioned about it.
The average guy, though, the guy without so much experience, will get out there and he'll be all over his fish, right?
That's right. That's right. This boat could be in 20 feet and over 10 feet and be virtually thrown in the same place that Alan's throwing in. But the presentation wouldn't be the same, and obviously the fish catching is not going to be the same.
I know they're here if I can just get the 5 good bites. I don't think I could beat a 20-pound stringer, but if I get lucky and catch one big one, then I might.
But what makes a place like this good is, right now we're in pre-spawn. It's holding bass. When we go on into the spawn, there's going to be some fish actually spawn on this area right here, and then after they get through spawning, the fish that are back here, a lot of them are going to come back here on their way back out. So you've got fish going in, spawning, and coming back out. So a place like this is good for a period of about 2 months, actually.
And, you know, Mark has the darndest time finishing a story.
He keeps catching fish.
He keeps catching fish.
Good problem to have.
It sure is, and Mark obviously has such good information and has got a lot of experience on Sam Rayburn Reservoir, so he does know those spots that are real transition spots, and actually what he's trying to do is park himself right in the middle of all the things that are going on. And you know what? I believe that he's doing it because he's catching a good string of fish.
Come here, boy.
My whole family's into the horse racing industry, and you know, I was planning on being a jockey too. So after my riding career was over, and he asked me one day if I wanted to go fish tournament, and I went, and I said, "Well, that's what I want to do." When I first found these things, they was right there, and it was just every cast you could go in there with Carolina. Every cast. Boom, boom. You know, and I was having to shake them off. And I haven't caught them like that since. Gosh darn it. Come on, eat that.
Kevin's shaking the heck out of his rod tip, which of course shakes the worm, but it doesn't really move the worm from the spot where it's sitting.
They come back. They're right there. They come back.
You know what, Tommy? He actually talked that fish into bite, didn't he?
Well, it sort of looked like he did. But how does he know that that fish is on there? How does he know it's time to set the hook?
No, he felt the tap, tap, tap.
Right.
And then the fish was gone. And so he began shaking it to make either that fish or the other fish in that area stay right there and get more interested in it. And then, of course, when he felt the peck and realized that the fish was beginning to move with the bait, then he knows it's time to get with the program.
He felt the bait going off sideways or something.
Right.
Okay.
Hello in there. You got a buddy.
2 fish now for Kevin Worth, but bear in mind that first fish is meaningful. That's that 10-pounder. Or he said it was a 10-pounder anyway.
He likes to go back and put another fish in the live well just so he can see that big one.
That's probably what he's doing.
Well, I think he just about took off right there, didn't he?
He's ready to fly now. Kevin is pumped already.
Well, we have a very happy Kevin Worth, and you can tell by the way the sun is hitting on him that we're still very early in the morning, and he is catching these fish on Carolina rigs now. Caught that big one on a crankbait, and that's pretty typical. You know, a crankbait will jump out there and catch one right off the bat. One that's really, moving around. But then when things settle down, Carolina rig is the way to go.
Yeah, boys! Coming up, Goober.
I first started fishing tournaments, I don't know, it was just the competitive part of it because there wasn't any money involved in it. And, then you reach the top level of that on the small tournaments. And, I don't know, eventually you decide that you want to see if you can beat some of the big boys. So, and it's not really beat them, it's just be able to compete with them. It's good. This one will work. Oh, this is a nice one, I think. Don't come up, don't come up, don't come up, don't come up. Son.
We're going to keep our eye on Kevin Worth for sure. Now back to Alan Head, who says he doesn't think he has fish like that in the place that he's fishing.
Might be the biggest fish that I've caught in here so far.
Well, there you go. I'm listening to him anymore.
He did. He talked like that he had a lot of fish located that would, make him respectable today, but he didn't think he could win with the fish that he was catching. And again, now he's still throwing that crankbait. And I said that sometimes that's good early right off the bat, and then you switch to a Carolina rig. But he's doing very well by staying right with it. And, boy, having confidence in your lure has a lot to do with it.
All right. That's the one I was hunting for. Well, I've been bass fishing ever since I was about 16 or 17 years old. I've fished Rayburn in some of the other big tournaments that's been on the lake for the last, 5 or 6 years. It really suits me well. I like to structure fish. I like depth with structure on it. I like drop-offs, I like grass, and this lake has just got it all.
No, I'm trying to shake the bait in one spot. I'm trying to let that bait stay there and just have it go. You know, without moving. God, man, you flare. Oh.
This is the Walmart FLW Tour presented by Eagle Electronics. This week we're in Jasper, Texas. Sam Rayburn. So far, it's the Kevin Worth Allen Head Show, but as you know, Ron Sam Rayburn, Mickey Bruce, and Mark Davis, they're just one fish away from being right in there.
Yeah, but hats off to Ricky Clun. With very few fish, he made it to the final day. Then he scrapped everything, started all over again, knowing the consequences could be pretty bad. Hey, Ricky Clun thinks there's only one place to be in a tournament, and that's first.
If you pull up and you start catching little small bass, that's what you're going to catch there. But that's not always the case here on Sam Rayburn. Here you're allowed to catch a couple of 14-inch fish, and 10 minutes later catch a 10-pounder right off the same area right there.
There he is. Oh, Lawsy mercy. I tell you, somebody is looking after me today. I need you, honey. Don't come up. Don't come up. Oh, man. Don't. Give up, fish. Give up. Oh, no. Man, that one hook come loose. Oh, man. I can't believe it.
What did Mark Davis just say, Jerry? You pull up, you catch a couple of 14-inch fish, and then a 10-pounder. That's what Allen Head has done.
And I'm thinking there's going to be a stampede to Walmart to at least have a look at that FLW crankbait. Just look at it, you know? Hey, Alan, I thought there was no good-sized fish in your area.
I'm like Chris Daniels was down at Florida last year. I got to sit down here and pant for a minute.
A bass, fortunately, doesn't have the ability to discriminate from big to little to short or tall, or how much money you have, or what race you are. And that's why people such as myself can be competitive in this sport. There's no other sport, to the best of my knowledge, that the competitors walk on a more level playing field than fishing.
Well, on the phone, Mickey Bruce tells us he's at the Highway 90 bridge. Now, I can't even find Highway 90 on the map.
Well,
but
that concrete truck had found it.
yeah, absolutely. The folks down at Sam Rayburn can find that place. I'm sure it looks familiar to them.
Hey, again, a little bit about boat positioning, Tommy. He is fishing a creek channel. He gets on the other side of that creek, throws to the flat side of the channel, and probably nothing happens. The other side, he's got a nice drop-off.
That's the one I came up here after, right there. Beautiful, isn't it? That's the kind of bite that I need. Right there.
Tell us what Mickey's throwing there, Jerry.
Mickey is throwing a jig with a piece of chunk on the end of it, and there's something different. None of our other guys are fishing quite that way, and man, that's an old way of fishing Sam Rayburn Reservoir. And I shouldn't say an old way because a lot of guys still do it, but I remember when the lake was young, man, if you weren't throwing a jig and eel out at those fish, you just weren't fishing at all for them. And Mickey's got him a dandy little groove there.
Number 5.
The Walmart FLW Tour is brought to you by Coca-Cola. Enjoy. By Wheaties, Breakfast of Champions. By Fujifilm, you can see the future from here. And by Citgo, when it counts. Right where Bear Creek and what they call Ayish Bayou come together here on Lake Sam Rayburn is a place called Needmore Point, and that's where we find Kevin Worth out there right now. And Kevin, you told us yesterday on the 3rd day of fishing, you pulled up to a spot. I don't know if it was this spot or not. Said you caught 2 big fish, sort of took the pressure off, really let you have a lot less stressful day yesterday.
Today you really can't do that. You can't rest on a big stringer of fish because there's always a possibility somebody might pull out a bigger one, right?
Yeah. You know, you got to go all out today. It's all or nothing. So, you know, you got to catch everything you can catch. I laid off a little bit yesterday, and I think it helped me a little bit maybe today. I'm not sure.
Would you mind holding up your Carolina rig for us and kind of explain how it's rigged up? And matter of fact, then go ahead and make a cast and kind of talk us through what happens.
Okay. What I'm doing here, I'm actually fishing a little transition area here, and I'm fishing the bald spots from your brush line on the inside of me to out to the grass line, and there's some deeper brush, and in these bald spots there's a little patchy grass, and it's kind of like some of them are sandy areas, and then some of them are kind of a clay bottom. But on my Carolina rig, I'm throwing a 3/4 ounce bullet weight so I can pull through the grass a lot easier. And I rig it with 2 beads in behind the 3/4 ounce bullet weight. I put a number 4 shampoo swivel on, and then I'm using, and my main line that I use on my Carolina rig is 20-pound super tough strand, and my leader line is 14-pound green super tough strand. And I feel like why I use the green leader all the time is because I can generate 1 or 2 more bites with it, and I rig it with a 3/0 Gamakatsu round bend light wire hook, kind of Texas style. And the way these fish are this week is they're real finicky, and you have to really force them into bite. You have to fish this thing extremely, extremely slow. I mean, I'm not pulling it 2 inches at a time, and you know, if I get down there and I feel a little piece of a little patch of grass or a little stump or a twig or something, I'll sit there and just shake it, let it sit there, shake it, let it sit there, and then I'll pull it over top of it, then leave it sit there again. I mean, some of my casts are taking me 5 minutes to get in.
What would the strike feel like? I know it's almost nothing, but can you describe it?
Well, most of these strikes, you know, they're thumping it pretty hard, and sometimes you feel a little tick or something in that nature. But then once you feel the bite, you still can't sit on them. You have to sit there and mess with them, shake it, and keep. I've had some follow it at least 20 yards, keep hitting it, messing with it, you know, until I finally get them to eat it. Kind of force feed it to them, really. Because there's certain pieces of cover you can bring it underneath or to the side, and if you say throw in and bring it straight back to you, then you would miss that total angle altogether. Well, it's been kind of slow today for me, you know, especially the last couple hours. But these fish, the areas that I'm fishing, fish are coming to me, fish are leaving, and they're coming from different directions. So I'm getting they're transition areas, close to wintering spots. Wintering areas that they winter in.
This is the Walmart FLW Tour, and if you think this is just a fishing tournament, well, think again. With the help of all our sponsors, the Walmart parking lot here in Jasper, Texas turns into a real festival on the last 2 days of this event. Plenty to do for everyone, especially some great things to do for the kids. Stay with us now. It's getting close to that time. And, of course, we're talking about weigh-in time here in Jasper, Texas. And, Jerry, I tell you, Lake Sam Rayburn has given us everything we could ask for here on the final day and for every day of this tournament, for that matter. And you see on the scoreboard, we've kind of quit guessing after about 20 pounds. We just know we got a great weigh-in coming up.
Yeah, and hey, to tell the truth, you get a fish 7, 8, 9 pounds, and it's hard to figure whether he's an 8-pounder or a 10-pounder. So, you know, our officials are somewhat unofficial at times, Tommy.
That's okay.
So we kind of backed off from that. Hey, I want you to know still that Kevin Worth is doing a good job of catching these fish on these Carolina rigs.
Fish for 100,000. I'll play with this one.
And he's fishing them very, very slowly.
And he'll help me.
Alan Head of Grove, Oklahoma. We talked to him yesterday after our day 3 weigh-in, and Alan caught a good stringer fish, 17 pounds, but he said, as far as he knew, he had no big fish out there in the lake that he knew of anywhere, but he thought that if the tournament could be won catching 3- and 4-pound fish, he could do it. Well, Alan, were you just putting us on, or did something unexpected happen today?
Oh, I tell you, it's really unexpected. I've been fishing in here all week, and really 4 pounds is the biggest thing that I've caught, and most of them have weighed around 3 pounds.
Explain to us exactly what you feel like the contour looks like that you're fishing in.
Describe it to us. Okay, well, what we have is we've got really 2 creek channels, one that splits and goes one way, and then one that splits and goes another way. And up here on top, we've got some little flat points with grass lines on them. And the fish basically are concentrating on those little points on the inside of the grass.
You know, I think this lake, more than many of them that we fish, Alan, has more contour, more ditch lines, more little drop-off from creek channels. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, and that's really what I like about this lake. It's just got anything that you want in it, from the grass to the ditches, stumps, buckbrush, willows, you name it, it's got it.
Well, we have people here in Jasper, Texas. As a matter of fact, I think the whole town is ready for the weigh-in. In fact, well, Kevin Wirt's out there right now trying to talk his wife into coming.
No, I got a 9-pounder, and one about 4.5, one about 3.5, and yeah. When can I call you back? Oh, I'll call you about 7 tonight. Yeah. Well, because I might be busy from now on. We check in at 2:30. Yeah. So I don't know, about 2:45. That's 3:45 your time. All right. All right. Love you too. Bye.
Ricky, we talked to you yesterday extensively, and you said it was a little dicey going out there today. You didn't feel super confident about your chances to find fish. I know you probably took a few chances, just didn't pan out.
Well, actually, I fished a very good tournament this tournament. I really wasn't on any fish, and to get in the top 5 and not be on a good pattern, you know, I felt like I maximized what I was on, and I knew I couldn't beat these guys fishing what I've been fishing, and I knew I had to change in the day, and I did change, and it just didn't work out.
All right. Well, it's a great day. Anytime we can have you in the top 5. Another hand for Ricky Clunn. All right, back around to Kevin Wirth. 3 pounds, 4 ounces is what you need to take the lead, Kevin, and stay in this thing. Kevin's weighed in 1 fish so far. Remember that.
3 4s, what we're looking for. There's another keeper. 2 4, need 1 more, Kevin. 2 fish, all right, that's a good keeper. 2 fish, and the weight, 5 pounds, 8 ounces, 5/8.
Let's hear it for Kevin Worth. He's still in this thing. So Mickey Bruce, 3 pounds, 10 ounces to take the lead for Mickey Bruce. Everybody's oohing and ahhing over here. I didn't see it, so we'll see it soon enough.
Tommy. 310 is what we're looking for.
310 to take the lead.
One fish, 4 pounds even.
Just in there. Mickey Bruce still in the game. Mickey Bruce having weighed in 3 fish right now. Alan Head to you, 3 pounds, 6 ounces to take the lead. Alan Head. Alan's weighed in 1 fish. Remember that.
Needs 3 6 to regain the lead. Here's 1
gonna
fish.
do it?
3 pounds, 13 ounces.
3 pounds, 13 ounces. 2 fish now weighed for Alan Head. All right, Mark Davis needs 3 pounds, 5 ounces.
3 pounds, 10 ounces.
Mark Davis is still in there. See? Can go on a while. So we go back around to Kevin Worth. We're down to 4 guys now. Kevin Worth up now, and all he needs is 1 pound 6. 1 pound 6 ounces, Kevin. That's what you need.
1 fish. Four pounds, 7 ounces.
All right, he's definitely in there. Got some good fish and lots of them. It looks like Mickey Bruce, 4 pounds, 1 ounce. Mickey, it's what it's going to take the lead and stay in this thing. Wow.
Here's 1 fish. 4 pounds, 12 ounces.
Mickey Bruce still in the thing. Have a seat, Mickey. Alan Head. Going to have 4 pounds and 5 ounces. Mickey Bruce, now your leader with 13 pounds, 7 ounces. Alan Head, who has so far weighed in 2 fish.
4 or 5.
Got to have 4 or 5. Yeah.
213.
Nope,
We need
not
another
quite.
one. Now, this will be 2 fish. 2 fish. 5 pounds, 3 ounces.
Alan Head still in there. Mark Davis, to take the lead, needs 4 pounds and 14 ounces.
Here's 1 good fish, but we need 4.
14. 414.
That's 3-pounder. This may do it. 2 fish. 5 pounds, 15 ounces. 5:15.
A limit for Mark Davis, 15 pounds, 8 ounces. He is your leader. Kevin Worth, you need 2 pounds and 14 ounces to take the lead. See, they do that to me. They'll do that to you if you let them. Don't believe this man. You saw that stringer he came in with yesterday. Wow. Two pounds, 14 ounces is what we're looking for. Maybe a bigger scale.
8 pounds, 13 ounces.
All right. The launch this morning was at 7 o'clock. Kevin, is it true you caught that fish at 10 minutes after 7? 10 minutes after 7 o'clock, 10 minutes into, you talk about something that'll take the stress away. Kevin is now our leader with 21 pounds and 8 ounces. When he took the lead, of course, he took the lead away from Mark Davis, who had already weighed in a limit of fish. And Mark, stand up here. We hate to see you eliminated. Let's hear it for Mark Davis. Mark, everyone associated with bass fishing, I know stands behind me with this. When I say that we just enjoy being part of the infectious good cheer that you bring to this sport, and I know it comes from deep in your heart because you love it with every part of you.
I sure do, Tommy, and I appreciate that. Well, I tell you what, it's been one exciting tournament. You know, it comes down to catching them fish like Kevin caught right there. You know, I had a great tournament, had a lot of fun. The second day of the tournament, I caught 21 pounds and 14 ounces or so. That day, I probably caught 40 keeping bass, and just had a terrific day, and caught them all over the lake.
I don't know who's the hottest guy on the Walmart FLW Tour right now, Kevin Worth or you, but we know you're going to try to keep the streak going, and we'll see you at the next tournament on Wheeler Lake.
We'll be there.
All right, Mark Davis, everybody. Thank you, Mark. Here, Mickey Bruce is coming up next, and Mickey, of course, that big fish means you got to have 8 pounds, 2 ounces to take the lead.
This is Mickey's 5th or limit fish. Needs to be an 8-pounder. Not quite 8.
Oh.
But a 5 bass limit. This fish weighs 2 pounds, 3 ounces.
All right, that's it. Another big hand for Mickey Bruce right here, everybody. We're down to 2 fellas, Alan Head, Kevin Worth, and we're going to take a break, and we'll be right back.
The Walmart FLW Tour, presented by Eagle Electronics, is brought to you by Chevy, the most dependable, longest-lasting trucks. By Everstar, the name says it all. By Spider Wire Super Mono, the meanest monofilament ever made. And by American Camper, the leader in family camping fun.
Well, if we had to write a script for a terrific weigh-in, I don't think we could write one any better than the one we've got right now. We're down to 2 fellas. There they are, right there. Kevin Worth, the leader, with 21 pounds, 8 ounces. He's weighed in his full limit of 5 fish. Alan Head may or may not have another fish. Kevin, come up here. We want everybody to be close in. Alan's weighed in 4. He's got one more. Has to be 7 pounds, 3 ounces. He's got to have 7 pounds, 3 ounces to win the $100,000. Got to be 7 pounds, 3 ounces.
8 pounds,
8-14.
14 ounces.
Alan Head is your champion. Let's hear it for him. Do we need to restart your heart again, Alan?
I think it's completely stopped. I'll tell you, this is probably the most exciting thing that's ever happened to me.
Folks back in Grove are going to kind of go crazy when they hear about what happened here today in Jasper, Texas, aren't they?
Yeah, they sure are. I've got a lot of supporters back at home, and if it wasn't for them, I couldn't be here.
If someone wants to live your dream, if someone wants to learn to fish as well as you can fish, for a chance to come out and fish for $100,000 and now win, what do they need to work on? What do they need to concentrate on?
Well, the main thing that I did, I just tried to spend a lot of time on the water, and if it wasn't for my wife, I'm sorry. But if it wasn't for my wife and my child, there's no way that I could do it. She put up with me going to the lake of a night, spending lots of hours on it.
He needs a good support group. Every good champion does, and we got a great champion here. I want to hear it one more time. For Alan Head. There she is right there. You never been hard on him for going out fishing so many days during the week, have you?
No.
Not once.
Probably when he first started.
When he first started. Are you kind of glad he stuck with it?
Yes, yes. We really enjoy doing this together.
Oh, Rosie. We had a number of choices today, but the Fujifilm flashback just has to be Alan Head's monster bass.
Oh, man. I got to sit down here and pant for a minute.
Something happens to a fellow's oxygen when you catch a big fish like that on the last day.
It sure makes you weak-kneed also.
What'd you catch that fish on, Alan?
I caught him on a FLW crankbait. Marty 4-Killer gave it to me a couple of days ago, and it works. I've caught probably half of the keepers that I've weighed in the last 2 days on it.
Caught that fish on an FLW crankbait and won $100,000. I guess you'd probably be shopping for a few more of those before it's all over with, right?
I'm going to buy a whole bucket full of them.
All right. Another big hand. Alan Head, everybody. He's a great champion. Kevin? Let's hear it for Kevin Worth. What a job. What a job. Nobody likes second place. I know you don't like it, Kevin. You always are striving to be the best. You're going to be a rich man finishing second, though. I mean, $100,000 last summer, $40,000 here in Jasper, Texas, but I know that's not enough for you as far as a championship goes.
No, I'll be back, you know. I'll be, you know, working just as hard in the next tournament and the tournament after, you know, and I can't complain. I had a good time this week. And I'd like to thank everybody at Ranger Boats and Evan Rude for supporting me for my fishing and helping me out through my career. Now, you know, I had a great tournament. You know, I come in here with a game set mind that, you know, I was going to fish basically just about like what Mark did. You know, I was going to fish staging fish. You know, I knew I'd have some coming, some going, and it is more in a winter type pattern, and I stuck with that. So I think I lost one fish in 4 days, so I executed really good, and I can't complain.